There is a moment, quiet, invisible, when a woman stops respecting a man, and most men never notice it. There is no argument, no breakup, no dramatic fight. She still texts, she still smiles, she still says she's fine. From the outside, everything looks normal, but something has already shifted beneath the surface. This is the moment when attraction starts leaking out slowly, silently, until one day she wakes up and feels nothing at all. No excitement, no tension, no pull, just emotional distance where desire used to live. And this is where men get it wrong. They think respect disappears because of something big, cheating, lying, a massive mistake, something obvious and unforgivable. But that's rarely how it happens. Respect is usually lost through small behaviors, repeated daily behaviors men think are harmless, supportive, even loving. The kind of actions that feel right in the moment, but quietly change how she sees you. It's the extra explanations you didn't need to give, the emotional reactions you didn't need to show, the subtle ways you started adjusting yourself just to keep the peace. None of these things look dangerous on their own, but together, they create a shift she can feel, even if she can't explain it. What makes this moment so dangerous is that men don't feel it happening. They feel closer, more invested, more attached, while she feels something very different, less grounded, less pulled in, less certain about you. In this video, you're going to understand the exact moment respect begins to die, the mistake men make right before women emotionally detach, and how to stop this shift or even reverse it without chasing, begging, or explaining yourself. No manipulation, no games, just clarity. Because once respect is gone, attraction doesn't argue, it doesn't negotiate, it doesn't sit down and talk things through. It leaves quietly, and by the time you notice what's wrong, she's already halfway gone. And if you miss this moment, if you misunderstand what's actually happening, everything you do after only makes it worse. Men are taught to focus on love. From a young age, they're told that if they care more, give more, and prove more, everything will work out. But women are wired to respond to something different. They respond to respect. A woman can love a man deeply and still lose attraction to him. That happens all the time. But she cannot desire a man she doesn't respect. Desire needs tension, it needs polarity, and respect is what creates that emotional gravity. Respect is what makes her listen differently when you speak. It's what makes your words carry weight without you raising your voice. It's what makes her pause when you pull back instead of immediately dismissing it. When respect is present, she feels your absence. When it's gone, she barely notices. When respect is high, she values your time. She doesn't casually waste it. She thinks twice before testing you or pushing boundaries. She feels safe with you, but also slightly challenged by you. There's a balance there, comfort mixed with uncertainty, and that balance keeps attraction alive. But when respect starts to drop, the shift is subtle at first. She interrupts you more. She questions your decisions, even small ones. She starts correcting you. She pulls away emotionally, but often stays physically. And that's the part that confuses men the most. She's still there, still present, still affectionate at times, but something feels off. This is where men usually make the wrong move. They think, I should communicate more, I should reassure her, I should show her how much I care. So they talk more, they explain more, they open up more, they justify their intentions, they try to logic their way back into attraction. But respect is not built through explanation. It's not built by convincing someone of your value. Respect is built through behavioral consistency and emotional control. It comes from how you move through uncertainty, not how you talk about it. The moment you start over-explaining yourself, justifying your worth, or negotiating attraction, respect doesn't collapse loudly. It quietly fades, not because you're weak, not because you're a bad man, but because you stopped being grounded. You shifted from being centered in yourself to being centered around her reactions. And that shift changes everything about how she sees you. The moment she stops respecting you is not when you fail. It's not when you make a mistake, say the wrong thing, or have a bad day. Respect doesn't disappear because you're imperfect. It disappears when you abandon your center just to keep her comfortable. This is how it usually starts. She pulls back slightly, not dramatically, just enough for you to feel it. Her replies get shorter, her tone changes. She becomes a little colder, a little less responsive. Nothing obvious, nothing you can point to, just a shift in energy. And instead of staying calm, grounded, and steady, most men do the same predictable things. They text more, They check in more often. They ask what's wrong. They try to fix the mood. They explain their intentions. They try to smooth everything over before anything can go wrong. On the surface, it looks caring. It feels responsible. But underneath, something else is happening. You're making her emotional state the priority, and your own stability optional. You're adjusting yourself to manage her feelings instead of remaining solid in your own. And in that moment, something clicks in her mind, often without her consciously realizing it. She feels it more than she thinks it. The realization is simple and instinctive. He's afraid to lose me. That's the moment respect cracks. Not because you care. Caring isn't the problem, and not because you're emotionally available. The problem is that you lost emotional authority. You handed control of your internal state to her reactions. Respect comes from a man who can feel without being controlled by his feelings. A man who listens without chasing reassurance. A man who stays steady when emotions fluctuate, instead of scrambling to stabilize them. The man who panics when energy shifts teaches her a powerful lesson. Even if he never says it out loud, he teaches her, my emotional state depends on you. And once she feels that, she can't unfeel it. Nothing kills respect faster than realizing that someone else's balance depends on your approval. High-respect men don't argue for attraction. They don't try to convince anyone to want them. They allow attraction to reveal itself naturally, through how they carry themselves and how they respond when things shift, when energy changes. They notice it, but they don't panic. They observe instead of react. They pull back slightly instead of chasing forward. They stay calm instead of becoming emotional. Their behavior doesn't swing wildly just because someone else's mood does. They don't punish. They don't give silent treatment to make a point. They don't lecture or demand explanations. And they don't disappear in dramatic ways, meant to provoke fear or guilt. There's no manipulation there. There's simply self-control. What they do is much quieter and much more powerful. They reduce emotional availability and return their focus to their own life, their work, their purpose, their routines, their direction, not as a tactic, but as a default state. Their life doesn't pause just because someone else feels uncertain. And here's the paradox most men miss. Distance by itself doesn't create attraction. Playing games doesn't create attraction. What creates attraction is self-possession. It's the sense that you are grounded in yourself, regardless of what someone else is doing. When she feels that you are stable, busy with things that matter to you, unshaken by small emotional waves, and completely unafraid of silence, her respect begins to recalibrate. Silence no longer feels like rejection to her. It feels like depth. It feels like strength. Because now, on an emotional level, she starts to feel something very different. She feels that if she loses you, she doesn't just lose attention. She loses stability. She loses a grounded presence. She loses someone who wasn't dependent on her reactions to feel centered. And that realization shifts the dynamic without a single conversation. Respect is never restored through words. It's never rebuilt by explaining yourself, apologizing repeatedly, or trying to be understood. Respect is restored through presence, through consistency, through the quiet confidence of a man who doesn't need to chase connection, because he is already whole without it. Here are the rules that protect respect. First, never explain attraction. If she questions your value, don't defend it. Don't try to prove yourself with words or actions. Instead, live your value. Show it through how you carry yourself, through the consistency of your actions, and through the stability of your presence. Words alone can't create the feeling of respect. It's something she experiences when she sees you grounded in yourself. Second, respond, don't react. Emotionally calm responses signal strength. When she tests you or pushes boundaries, don't let her energy dictate your state. Take a breath, center yourself, and respond with measured clarity. Reaction is emotional. Response is control. Response creates the gravity that keeps respect alive. Third, let silence work. Silence is not abandonment. It's not a punishment or a threat. Silence is space for reflection, space for her to notice what she feels when you're steady and unshaken. It's in that quiet that attraction recalibrates, that respect begins to return, and that she starts to feel the weight of your presence without you saying a single word. Fourth, have a life she can't control. Purpose creates gravity. Neediness repels it. Be the man whose world doesn't stop or shift based on her moods. Have ambitions, routines, friendships, and goals that are yours alone. When your life is full and independent, she feels your value naturally. She sees that losing you would cost her stability and presence. and that is magnetic. If respect is already damaged, do not chase repair. Chasing repair signals insecurity. Trying to prove yourself only accelerates the loss. Repair happens when you stop proving, stop negotiating, and start being solid again. Your presence, your calm, and your independence restore the gravity that attracts her naturally. Remember this: she doesn't respect the man who fears losing her. She respects the man who knows he'll be fine either way. The man who is grounded, steady, and unshakable. That is the man who commands attraction, who creates emotional pull without effort, and who becomes the kind of presence she can't ignore. And that is the moment when attraction begins to return, quietly, powerfully, and permanently.